Okay, this is my still life, and this is my drawing so far. And I'm going to show you how I'm doing some of this drawing. First thing you're going to do when you start drawing is you're just going to use fine charcoal, and you're just going to do a line drawing, and you're going to figure out the proportions, how wide something is compared to how tall. Like on the toilet paper roll, I sighted from a distance. I sighted how wide it was by putting this at one end, my finger at the other end of here, and then I tipped it. And it's just a little wider than it is tall. Well, to here, right? So I measured this and I put lines down, and then when I turned it, it was a little bit shorter from this edge to this edge than from here to here. So then I drew my lines in. All the lines on the sides, these lines are all verticals. They have to be parallel with the edge of the paper. If they're like this at an angle, it'll look like your objects are tipping over. So they all have to be parallel with the edge of your paper. So I'm sighting how wide compared to how tall. I actually do the box first because it's the largest object, and I sighted all of my angles. My angle shifts a little bit from the top of the box to the bottom of the box because I'm above the box and it's a tall object, so it's a slight shift in viewpoint. So I got all my angles in. I drew all the way through using just lines. If you need to make changes, just reinforce the change. Don't worry about erasing right now. You can always just use your fingers to blend this in, and it'll be part of your shading, right? Now I'm going to show you how next I would sight the cup that I have there, the metal cup. I would sight, and I'd figure out where the top of the cup lined up with this side of the box. And it's not quite half, a little less than half. So again, that would be about half, so I'm going a little bit lower than that. That's going to be the top edge of my cup, the lip of my cup. Then I'm going to sight the bottom of my cup, which would be about, that's probably about where it would be, right about here. And that's going to be how tall it is. I'm going to give myself how close this is to this lip, a line right there. And I'm going to sight the other side, which is very close over here. Give myself a midline. And then I'm going to start to draw my ellipse. If I was looking straight down on this cup, it would be a perfect circle. As the cup moves up in space, I see less of the circle and I see more of an ellipse. If it was even with me, if the cup was eye level, I wouldn't see in the cup at all. Then I'm going to give myself a midpoint this way, so I know where the middle of the cup is. And then I'm going to sight each side. There's my right side. It looks like it's about like that. Whenever I sight an angle, I close one eye. I lay my charcoal right along the edge. I open my eyes, look at that angle, and bring it over. That's about where it is. So first we're just getting basic shapes. Now I'm going to draw the ellipse in. Notice I'm not drawing like this. My hand's not on the paper. I'm not writing. I'm holding my charcoal at the back of my pencil, so I'm using my arm to draw with. When we use our arm to draw with, we get straighter lines than when we use our fingers to draw with. Plus, we're not smearing our charcoal, right? So I'm holding my charcoal further back. I'm using my arm. I'm going to reinforce these lines a little bit. Then I'm going to erase. I had drawn the box underneath because I wanted to get the perfect shape of the box, and now this cup overlaps this, so I would just erase some of these lines underneath of the box. Most of my shading, it's darker on the side, so if I wanted to put just a little bit of shading to reinforce this right now, I could just get it a little darker on this side, smudge that in. My cup has a lip on it, So later with a charcoal pencil, I would go along and I'd give this a double edge, like this. So it looks like I have a lip to give it more volume. I'm just going to shade this side just a little tiny bit, just so you guys can see some quick shading. This is just starting to get in a little bit of shading. First layer. But I'm not going to shade all my objects first. I'm just going to block them in and then move to another object. So I have 3 objects already and I have 3 more. If I'd probably start on the paper towels next because of the next largest object over here. So I'm going to see how tall it is compared to the toilet paper roll. The back edge of it hits at about half the toilet paper roll. So that's going to be about how tall my paper towel is right there. It's overlapping, and there's about maybe, I'm looking at the negative space. Negative space means the area between here. And then I'm going to draw this little edge right here. And the bottom of the ellipse hits about right here. So that's about how big my ellipse is going to be. That means when I draw the ellipse. And now I need to know how far I need to bring this out. So I'm going to compare it to something I've already drawn. I'm going to compare it to the opening of the box. So the opening of the box is a little bit smaller than the paper towel. So I could take this measurement, I could bring it over here, and I could say that my paper towel should probably end about right here. And I'm going to just go ahead and draw that down. Make my lips maybe a little bit bigger. My paper towels are a little squished, so they're not a perfect circle. My toilet paper roll is about a little bit higher than this, so it's going to end at about here, and it's at an angle, so I'm going to cite that angle. There's the angle right here. It goes past the, and it's also a little squished, and I see quite a bit of the front of it, and it is not quite even with this, so I'm going to draw a line across, and it's going to end just a little bit above that, like this. I'll put the dog in last. This paper towel, this toilet paper roll looks a little bit too big to me, so I'm going to have to change that perspective just a little bit. Okay, so you're just kind of constantly making changes, refining, adjusting. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how you're going to start, right? And then my last object would be my dog, which is the furthest thing down, and it's probably going to fit in right there. It comes down a little further than the cup does, and it overlaps the edge of the box right here. So this is about the position that my dog is going to be in. So if I just get basic shapes and one paw, the other paw. So I already have it very quickly and loosely put in there. Okay,